Well, hello and welcome to Faith, Philosophy and Life with me, Mr. Shelton. Glad that you could join us again, and today we're going to be thinking about the picture behind me. So I'm not going to tell you much more than that. I'd like you to try and work out what you think this picture is all about. So now is your time to go and grab a pen and a piece of paper, because here is our cheesy intro music. Okay, so welcome back. I wonder if you'd worked out what that image was all about and what was going to happen to that poor dude at the end of it. Well, yes, today we are going to be thinking about the Buddhist teaching of karma, which you may know as what goes around comes around, and that will make some sense. So I wonder, what's been the most helpful thing that you have ever done in your life? And what's been the worst thing as well? What's been the most helpful thing you've ever done in your life? And what's been the worst as well? Now, normally at this point I'd have a little conversation and try and draw information out from you. Clearly can't do that because not in the classroom, but have a little bit of reflection yourself. Okay, so our title today is What is Karma? And our learning objective is to explore how belief in karma would have an impact on the world. So explore how belief in karma would have an impact on the world. And our literacy objective is speaking and listening to reach conclusions. Obviously, I'm going to be speaking, you're going to be listening, but hopefully you can have some discussions with people online as well or through WhatsApp. So a good outcome would be if you could explain what the concept of reincarnation is. Great if you can explain a basic understanding of karma with giving some detail about the effects that it has, and even better if you can say about how life may be different if people hold that belief as well. During this lesson then, we've got a media clip that we're going to watch. Going to ask the question, are you smarter than an alien? And then there's going to be a snakes and ladders activity that I'm going to ask you to get involved with as well. So before we begin, I'm going to invite a guest speaker from today. It's not really, I've just nicked this off YouTube from the Shantideva Centre. And this is someone describing karma and the impact that that has on their faith. So I invite you to watch this clip now.
To some degree, we have an expression in the United States, what goes around comes around. So this is somewhat related to karma as far as we can understand it. It's very intricate karma. So it takes a very highly realized mind to understand the intricate workings of karma. But what we can understand is if you create a negative action with your body, you hit someone with your speech, you yell at someone with your mind, you think negative thoughts about someone, that definitely ripens in suffering for you in the future. Positive events as well ripen in something of happiness for you in the future. Okay? So karma literally is action. It is the movement of mind. And in order to understand more about karma, it's helpful to understand the nature of the mind, and that the mind is made up of these moments of consciousness, and it exists on a gross, subtle, and most subtle level, the mind. So in the most subtle level, there's many fluctuations of the consciousness, or on a more subtle level, let's say. The most subtle level of the mind is a kind of clear light nature, but these subtle fluctuations has the mind going through many different experiences in a very short amount of time, and each one of them creates some sort of result in the future. So there's lots of misconceptions about karma, that you can only create it with your thoughts. It's not. It's created with what all activities you do with your body, your speech, and your mind. A lot of those activities are neutral, like brushing your teeth. However, you can change those activities if you have a positive motivation to benefit others while you're doing a mundane activity that can create a positive result in the future. If you're brushing your teeth and you're angry at someone and thinking those thoughts, that can create a negative situation of suffering for you in the future. So a lot of karma is dependent on your motivation. There's a lot of mixed karma we get involved in. So, for instance, people that euthanize their pets when the pets are old and dying, the motivation is very pure, that you are doing it so your animal is no longer suffering. Okay? However, Buddhism would say that euthanizing an animal, even with a good motivation, has a slightly harmful effect because you're killing the animal. So there's a mixed karma, there's a little bit of the killing karma. But there's also factors that make an activity what we would call complete. So you need different factors based on the motivation, so your mindset, based on how you intend to do the activity. Are you happy about killing somebody? Did you do it accidentally? You hit them in a car when they were walking across the street in fog. Very different outcome than sadistic killing. You're rolling over insects on your bicycle or in your car unintentionally is very different than getting the can of Raid out and spraying a cockroach in your kitchen. So the karma also ripens in different ways. It can ripen environmentally, that it sets up a situation for you to live. If you don't respect life and you kill a lot of animals or insects, or you rejoice when you go fishing and you're very happy to catch a lot of fish, and you're very happy to see them struggle in the end and things like that, and you don't have much regard for that, it could set up a situation environmentally in the future where you are born in a war-torn place, so a place that doesn't help to sustain your life. Or could be that you're born in a place where medicines are ineffective for you. Like that's the things that are not promoting your life. Similarly with stealing, you could end up very poor, and that can be a result of taking from others and things like that.
Okay, hopefully you found that useful. So today then, we're going to be thinking about karma. Let's make a definition in your book about what karma is. Buddhists believe that when you die, you get reborn and you go into another body. So that's kind of like your soul, if you will. The type of body depends on your karma, how good or bad you were in your last life. And that's really the big idea about karma, or at least that's the central idea about karma, should I say. So far today, we've had a basic understanding of what karma is, and we may have started to get some idea about reincarnation. So let's make a really straightforward now little few definitions here. So what I'd like you to do is I would like you to imagine that you're talking to someone in year 8, an 8-year-old or an alien. You can choose which. And I'd like you now to explain what karma and reincarnation is based on that information to one of those three. So you've basically got a minute to come up with the idea. Then you're going to be writing down what you would. So you choose someone in year 8, an 8-year-old or an alien, to explain the concept of karma to them. So pause me now while you get that done, have a think, and then just get a couple of sentences down, maybe with a couple of examples as well of what you'd understand by now. Okay, so now we're going to just add a little bit more work and information to it. So I'd like to think about some phrases you could add to that as well. So again, you're on the same definition. Things that you might want to think about, I've put on the screen there. But you don't have to use any of those. But try now and expand what you've written with a little bit more information. So pause me now and just add some information to that. Okay, so what we've done then is we've thought about You Smarter Than an Alien, and we're now going to look at our snakes and ladders just to pull this out a little bit more. So you haven't got much input from me, so today's quite a creative one, which is brilliant for you. So you're going to create a snakes and ladders board. Ladders are for good things that people do, and snakes are for bad things. If you're really with it, then you can draw longer ladders for really good things, so for example saving a life, and shorter ones for kind things like putting litter in a box. Or you could do it the opposite way around as well. So you have littly bad things and then bigly bad things, and I'm making words up there. Now, to help with that, in the description below, which you can click on, there is a grid for you to complete. You don't have to use the grid, you can write it out yourself, but I'd like you now to create a list of actions. Let's start with that. So create 6 actions. There's some examples behind me of things that would be good or helpful, or bad or unhelpful. So do that in your book. 6 actions are things that would be good or helpful, and things that would be bad or unhelpful. So pause me now while you do that, then come back to me and I'll explain the next point. Okay, so this is what you are going to do. Also in that link below, there was a link to a snakes and ladders board. You can draw your own out, you don't have to use the one that's there, but ideally you just have a blank grid, and that's all that mine is. And then you're going to draw snakes and ladders on it, but I want you to label each ladder and each snake as appropriate to show your understanding of karma. So good actions, you go up the ladder. Longer ladders, shorter ladders, you can work that out based on the grid you've just done. Bad actions, you've got your snakes, again, longer snakes, shorter snakes, and so on. Add some colour, make some tokens, maybe have a game of this with someone in your family, or have a social distance game via, I don't know, WhatsApp or Messenger or whatever video chat conferencing that you've got. So I've got some examples there behind me, so I'm going to shuffle off, pause me now, and then come back to me when you're done. Perfect. So we said it'd be good if you could explain the concept of reincarnation. So that's the idea that you get born in another life. Great if you can explain the basic understanding of karma, giving some details about the effect that it has and the way it impacts you in your next life. And even better if you can say how life may be different if people have that belief. And that's really what our last activity is. So today's not been a particularly challenging lesson, I get that, but it has been one that's hopefully just made you think a little bit more about the concept of karma. So this is our final question, which is, could karma change the world? Could karma change the world? If everyone believed in karma, how would this world be different? So I'm going to invite you now to write a paragraph in answer to that question. It's obviously a Buddhist belief. Other religions do have the similar concept of karma as well. So could karma change the world? And if everyone followed karma, how would this world be different? So I'm going to leave it there. You need to do a paragraph on that. Maybe send it through to your teacher to look at, because I know that we love seeing the work that you're doing while you're in lockdown. So take care of yourselves, stay safe, wash hands, God bless, and I will see you a little bit later this week for our next clip.